गुरुराराधना दिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति कृपालु गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ब्रह्मा देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Devoted souls, this evening we are going to sing about a childhood pastime of Sri Krishna. It has to do with herding cows. Does everybody have a handout? Do we have some extra that we can put in the back? मोकाहाँ आँखें दिखायो हरि जनी चरावहु Kanhaiya is in the family of Nand and Yashoda, and Nand Baba is the chief clan of the cowherds. So he has considered himself to be a Vaishya, and so Thakurji, Sri Krishna, is also a Vaishya, and their profession is cowherding. So it is time for little Kanhaiya to start grazing the cows. And in order to start him with cowherding, Gargacharya ji was invited to the house, a puja was performed. As you know, in Sanatan Vedic Dharma, we have many rituals, but those rituals are very meaningful. God becomes a part of every phase of life. So now it is time for little Kanhaiya to start grazing cows. So puja is done to Bhagwan. An auspicious day has been determined by Gargacharya ji, and now he's prepared to go for cowherding. But he's too small right now. He's not going to do it seriously, but just as a token, he's going to go. But he has to go barefoot. He must go barefoot, no matter who it is. If it is a cowherd, then according to the scriptures, he must go and take care of the cows, graze the cows, without any shoes, slippers, sandals on his feet. So little Thakurji, has been dressed up as a cowherd, and just do the Roop Dhyan of that, how sweet he must look. And he is barefoot, and he is all excited to go with his friends, who are all older than him. He is the youngest of all. And Sri Krishna arranged this, he made this happen, because he's the youngest, and that means that there will be much more sweetness, because all the other boys are older than him, and they'll be bossing him around. Kanhaiya, do this, Kanhaiya, do that, don't do that, I'll tell you, Maiya. So everybody's always bossing him around, and there is more nectar in that the Supreme Lord is being bossed around by the devotees. Because apana ke bado man amar samheen. If you want the nectar of God, then you must accept him to be. Think of him as your equal, and it's even better to think of him as being smaller than you. Because then there is no rank that he can pull, that I am the Supreme Lord or I am bigger than you. No, he's smaller. He's smaller than me. So now he went the first time with his friends, and he went second time. He's been there a few times. But now the sakhas, the friends of his, the cowherd boys, are upset with him. And they're saying, "O Kanhaiya, don't look at us in this way. Don't put on airs with us. Don't behave this way with us. Moh kaha aankhi dikhayo. Apni gaya higari charavahu kiyo bahut man bhayo." Separate your cows and graze them separately, because you've done as you please for too long now. Kiyo bahut man bhayo. What has he done that has angered them? He has started thinking that he's there just to play, and they're all there to work. So they're doing all the work. What happens is, and it's a very intelligent way of cowherding, that 4 or 5 families, and in this case there's more than 4 or 5 families, there are many families, many cowherd boys, many boys, and they all take their cows to graze, and at this age they're taking little calves to graze. They can't handle the cows. So they're little bachade, the calves are there with them. And so one boy goes, or maybe a couple of them go and take care of all the calves, and then they come back after some time. They say, okay, now 2 hours you take the 2-hour shift, then these boys will go, then these boys will go, and they have a plan. It's a good plan. But now all the boys have been going, and he's saying, I'm not here to do any work. You all go do that. I'll play the flute, I will run around, I will take a nap. And they've had enough, and they're saying, no, this is not good, and we're not going to tolerate this anymore. You have done what you please for too long now. There's a secret hint over here that when God comes to earth, he does as he pleases. परम स्वतंत्र ना सिर पर कोई. Narad ji had said out of frustration, "My Lord, you are Param Swatantra, you're supremely independent. You do as you please. No one can tell you what to do." Who can control him? So you have done whatever you felt like doing for too long now, but no more. And they're hinting at the fact that when he descends to earth, when he descended to earth in Treta Yuga as Ram, he was approached by Shurpanakha, Ravan's sister, who said to him, "Mo sam tum sama purush, na mo sama nari." There is no male quite like you. I've never seen anyone so good looking as you, so strong as you, and there is no female as alluring and as beautiful as myself. She had transformed herself into a very extremely beautiful young woman, and she had a desire to marry him. Bhagwan Ram rejected her and had her ears and nose cut off. Lakshman did that. We all know the story. So you got her ears and nose cut off, poor thing. But then, when you came back as Krishna, you married so many women, 16,108 declared marriages. Except for Radha Rani, you married everybody else. You married so many. So what happened? You just did what you pleased as Ram. When you came as Krishna, you did what you pleased. The devotee is saying lovingly. These are loving words that he's speaking towards God. So the sakhas, the friends, are saying, you have done what you pleased for too long, but no more. So here's what we'll do. Since you're not doing any work, we are not going to take your cows with us, your calves with us. We will just leave them and you will just go all day long. You go ahead and graze your calves and then फिर पता चलेगा बच्चू कितनी मुश्किल होती है, कितना काम करना पड़ता है. How much you have to work, you will find out. Now Thakurji is very small. He's very, very small. And he has been pampered a lot by Nand Baba, Yashoda Maiya, all the gopis. They're crazy about him. They just want a glimpse of him. They all love him. They look adoringly at him. So now he's thinking, I'm someone special. I'm really someone special. And so he has not been given any scolding yet. It has been said that till the age of 5, lalayet panchavarshani, a child must be given only love, no discipline. Just love, just pamper the child. But then, for 10 next years, tadayet, love as well as discipline. So, lalayet panchavarshani, dasvarshani, tadayet. So, for 10 years until the age of 15, there is love plus discipline. Because if the child gets only love, then he is going to be spoiled. He is going to become lazy, careless, he may fall into the wrong company. And if he's given only discipline, then he is going to starve for love. So that's not good for him. So he must be given a mixture of love and discipline. But Thakurji now has not been disciplined by anyone yet. The sakhas are the first ones to do it. They're getting angry with him in this sweet leela, and they're saying, enough is enough, we are not going to do the work for you. And then they continue. हाँ सही सकोना धौंस तिहारी
So
raha dahakayo hari jani. जनी के बल रहा डहकायो हरि जनी के बल रहा डहकायो हरि आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी. They then say to him, we will not take your arrogance, we will not tolerate your arrogance anymore. And what are you so proud about? Why do you put on airs like that? What makes you think you're so special? Fine, your father has more cows than our fathers do. If someone has 10 cows, another has 100, another has 1,000. All right, so your father has substantially more cows, so he's wealthier than our fathers. That's fine. But the thing is, he doesn't feed us. Nanda Baba doesn't feed us. He doesn't give us a house to live in. We live in our modest little house. Yes, you may live in a palace, palatial home, but that's not a reason to put on airs like this. Now, these friends of Lord Krishna, who are they? How great are they? Brahmaji says, Aho bhagya mahobhagyam nanda gopabrajaukasam yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatanam. Brahmaji exclaims, the creator Brahma exclaims and says, what can I say about the bhagya, the great fortune of these boys who have Sri Krishna as their eternal friend and playmate? What actions did they do as a result of which they got this privilege, that the Supreme Lord of innumerable universes is their friend and playmate, and they're speaking to him like this? He's their eternal friend. There are two kinds of friends of Lord Krishna. One is the eternal friend, and the other is a friend, a sakha, who became a sakha one day. In other words, they are those who have come from Golok with Sri Krishna. They were never controlled by Maya. They are his eternal devotees in the sentiment of Sakhya Bhav. They are his eternal friends. They have been his friends forever and ever, like Sri Dama, Mansukh, Dhansukh, and others. And then there are those who have become his friends one day. Any one of us, if we attain God realization, then we will become his friend. We will not be his eternal friends. Of course, the Vedas say that he is the eternal friend to everyone. He is the eternal friend of the soul. Dvasuparna Sayuja Sakhaya. He is an eternal friend of all of us. But he's in our heart, and he is quietly gracing us as a very, very good friend. But this is different. These friends come and they partake in his pastimes. So these are his eternal friends that Brahmaji is speaking of. What can I say about the great fortune of these eternal friends of Krishna? The fact is that fortune has nothing to do with this. It's not because of the actions they have performed that they have gotten this privilege. Why it is that they have this privilege? Well, some call it grace, some call it something else, but it's certainly not fruits of their actions. Because there's simply nothing you can do, nothing that we can do, as a result of which we will have this privilege that we'll be able to scold Sri Krishna as his friend. Having said that, we must think of him as our friend, as our eternal friend. But right in the beginning, if we start scolding him, in my Rup Dhyan, I'm thinking I'm scolding Kanhaiya, that is not good. That would not be good. That's an offense. Because our love is very small, and we don't have that privilege yet. Right now, what we must think is, he is my friend, and I will serve him selflessly. But these are eternal friends, and they have a right to say anything to him and do anything. And so he has given them the right, and so these friends are saying that we will not tolerate your attitude anymore. And why is it that you have this attitude in the first place? They don't accept him as God. They don't know him as God. He makes himself forget that he's God, and he makes his devotee forget that he is God. It's only then that nectar can flow, sweetness can flow. Braj ras barasi rahyo braj bithin. Sri Maharaj Ji says that the nectar of Braj, nectar of Vrindavan, is flowing freely in the lanes of Vrindavan. That nectar is flowing because Sri Krishna has made himself forget who he is. So he forgets that he is Brahma, and he makes the devotee forget that he is the devotee. And oftentimes the roles are reversed. The devotee is thinking, I am the Lord is thinking, I am the servant. And then there is even more sweetness. So these boys, these cowherd boys, these Gwal Bal are extremely special, that they are talking to Kanhaiya like this. They're in a scolding mood. They have been very kind to him. They have been very tolerant, but you know, there is a limit to everything. And ati sarvatra varjayet, too much of anything is not good. Too much of playing and too much of goofing around is not good. Some amount is good, but too much is not good, so they have been tolerating him, and they're going to tell us why they have tolerated him so far. They're going to tell him. But they have tolerated him for too long, and now it's reached a point where they can no longer tolerate his behavior. Mokaha aankhi dikhayo Hari Jani. दिखायो हरि जनी आँखि दिखायो हरि जनी बल भैया को अनुज जाने हो बल भैया को अनुज जाने हो बल भैया को अनुज जाने अब लो तो ही बचायो हरि जनी अब लो तो ही बचायो हरि जनी अब लो तो ही बचायो हरि जनी मोका आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी मोका आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी. The friends of Sri Krishna say to him, we have spared you so far because of your brother, Balaram. Baldao Bhaiya, he is so good. He's so good, and you are his younger brother. So knowing this, that you are his brother, we have spared you. But you have taken advantage of our goodness. Now, Balaram is Lakshman from Ramavatar, as you know. And as Lakshman, he had a fiery temper, very excitable nature, mischievous nature. So now Krishna, Sri Krishna has taken on the nature of Lakshman. And Lakshman was a younger brother. Now Lakshman has come as Balaram, and Balaram is the older brother, and he has taken the nature of Bhagwan Sri Ram. So he's very serious, he takes everything very seriously, and he's not mischievous like his younger brother. So the natures have changed, because when God performs pastimes, he thinks, well, people shouldn't get bored. So let's change it up a little bit. Earlier I had a serious nature, I was Maryada Purushottam, and those pastimes were done when I was Ram. In Ramavatar, I was Maryada Purushottam. I did everything by the book. I didn't break any rules. And now I'll break all of them. I'll just break all of them. I will not play by the rules. I'll be mischievous. I was very serious earlier. So I will just change everything up. So Lakshman is now Balram. The younger brother has become the older brother, and he has taken, the natures have changed. They've changed it all up. So the friends are angry with him, and they're saying, it's because Baldao Bhaiya is so nice. He's so good. Why are you so bad? You're both brothers. People wonder, you know, your siblings, you're so different from one another. Ek pita ke vipul kumara, hohi prithak gunashil achara. Tulsidas Ji says, one father, they have the same parents, but many children, and they're all different from each other. One is very devoted to God, one is an atheist, another one says, I don't know if God exists, one is mildly devotional, one likes to dress up a lot, another is very simple. Everything about them is so different, but they're born of the same parents. So you are of the same parents, and yet you're so different from him. He's so nice, and you're so bad. And we have spared you so far, and that wasn't anything that you did. You don't get the credit for that. Your brother, Baldao Bhaiya, gets all the credit for that. Now, Sri Krishna is very happy inside because this is exactly what he wanted. He wanted the friends to get angry with him. He wanted them to scold him. Because Sri Maharaji used to say, you know, when a person is only given sweets to eat, he craves something savory. Then he craves something tangy. The same flavor is not satisfying for too long. Now, Sri Krishna gets praise from everyone. The Vedas are praising him. The Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar are praising him. He's getting praise everywhere. So he thinks, now I'll go to Mrityu Lok and I'll get some scolding, and I'll get people to be angry with me. My devotees should get angry with me, and there'll be so much fun. It'll be so sweet. And I'll be able to give sweetness to the world. So Sri Krishna has deliberately been doing this. He has deliberately been staying away from doing all the work and just playing the flute and running around here and there, not doing the work. And now everything is going according to plan. The friends are really angry with him, very annoyed with him, and they're not trying to spare his feelings. They are just telling him as it is. They haven't finished talking to him. They haven't finished telling him off. Kabahun jaya khirak parisoyo, kabahun jaya khirak parisoyo, kabahun jaya khirak parisoyo, kabahun jaya khirak parisoyo, khirak parisoyo, kabahuk benu bajayo hari jani, 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 तुम्हारे बाबा को नहीं चाकर, 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 जाकर घास बतायो हरि जनी, जाकर घास बतायो हरि जनी, हरि जनी, जाकर घास बतायो हरि जनी, जाकर घास बतायो हरि जनी, खात ना नंद बाबा को दीनो, खात ना नंद बाबा को नाम नंद बाबा को दीनो हाथ नाम नंद बाबा को दीनो रहत ना उन घर छायो हरि जने 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 मोकहाँ आँखी दिखायो हरि जने His friends say to him, sometimes you go off to sleep in the cowshed, sometimes you go here and there to play your flute. So then they say, in Hindi it sounds better, हम तुम्हारे बाप के नौकर नहीं हैं. We are not your father's servants. You are throwing his name around that you know who I am. Kids often brag like that. Do you know who my dad is? My father is so strong, my father is so powerful. So you proudly announce your father's name, but we will have you know that we're not his servants, all right? And we don't eat the food, we don't eat his food, he doesn't give us the food to eat, and we don't live under his roof. So you stop behaving like this. Thakurji always aims to give happiness to his friends. And when they play many games. When they go out to graze the calves and later on the cows and cattle, then they're not working all the time. They're taking turns doing the work. They work very intelligently, so they have lots of time to play also. When these friends of his, they are playing with him, they all are playing as a group, then there is a condition that whoever loses will become a horse for others to ride upon. So others will take turns climbing on his shoulders, and he will have to be the horse. So Thakurji deliberately loses the game many times, because actually no one can defeat him. He is Ajit, Ajitopi. He says, I am Ajit, no one can beat me, no one can conquer me, no one can defeat me, he says, and that is true. Who can defeat the one who has all the powers, who has uncountable powers, who has unlimited strength? Who can conquer him? Who can defeat him? But how would it be that he is winning every game? And his sakhas will say, this is abnormal. This is not right. He must be some great personality. He never loses. We are losing all the time. He is winning all the time. He does not want them to know who he is. And so he deliberately loses many games. And then the friends of his, the boys, they come and they ride on his shoulders one by one. Uvaha Bhagavan Krishno, Uvaha Krishno Bhagavan, Shridamanam Parajitah. Sridama has won the game and Thakurji has lost, so now Sridama is riding on his shoulders. Mind you, Sridama is older and taller than Krishna. But he's riding on little Krishna's shoulders, and these boys, they're not gentle with one another. They're into roughhousing, so they are rough with each other. And so now the horse is running, Thakurji is running, the horse rider is riding the horse, and the horse rider then kicks the horse in the stomach with his heel, saying, "Go faster, go faster." And when Sri Dama is kicking Thakurji in the stomach with his heel, Thakurji is thinking, how blessed I am, how fortunate I am to receive the dust of the lotus feet of my devotee. I am so lucky, I am so fortunate that Sri Dama is kicking me in the stomach. I am getting the foot dust of Sri Dama. I am most fortunate. This is how highly he regards his servants. He is such a master that he values his servants so much. He adores them. He respects them. He loves them to such an extent that he becomes a horse for them to ride upon. So Sri Dama is riding on Thakurji's shoulders, and Thakurji is running, and Sri Dama is trying to make him go faster by kicking him in the stomach. And Thakurji is very happy being kicked like that. Not only is there no problem with this, he prefers this. He lost a game deliberately so he could get this privilege. And Sri Dama, the devotee, he has forgotten, or Thakurji has made him forget who Thakurji is. Otherwise, can you imagine, there would be no friendship. Forget about the friends of Lord Krishna. There's no friendship because they all remember that he is the Supreme Lord. So there would be no friendship, no playing games, nothing like that. There's no sense of equality then because he's the Lord, they are servants. There's no equality. There's no such feeling that we are equals. And then think about Mother Yashoda. Yashoda would be doing arti to him, morning, evening, and night time. And she would hang on to every word of his, and no matter what he wanted to do as a child, she would say, "Yes, Lord, you can do whatever you want." She would not be able to scold him. She wouldn't be able to scare him with a thin stick in her hand. She could not reprimand him. She could not beat him as she sometimes does, gently. But she couldn't do all that because she would remember that he's God. So how wonderful it is that when he comes down to earth, he makes his devotees forget who he is. When he lifted the Govardhan hill for 7 days, then after the Leela was finished and after Indra had come and fallen at his lotus feet and after everything was done, some of the elders in the community started talking amongst themselves. And they said, you know, this boy of Nanda and Yashoda's son, I think he's someone special. Because this boy was holding onto the hill for so many days. He is some divine personality. And so the word got around to the friends of Lord Krishna. And they said, is he someone special? Is Kanhaiya someone special? Oh, he's some divine being. Where did he come from? Because these elders were saying that he is someone special. So they started looking at him differently. They started looking at him with fear and hesitation. The love was gone because it was replaced by fear. Now they looked at him as if he was someone very majestic. And Thakurji started to cry. They asked him, "Why are you crying, Kanhaiya?" And he said, "You're looking at me funny. You're giving me funny looks. Why are you looking at me like this?" And they realized that he was not happy. And he said, "Why are you looking at me like this? Tell me." And they said, no reason. All these people, these old people, they're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. And they said amongst themselves, no, Kanhaiya he's our friend. He's no one special. When he lifted the Govardhan hill, did you forget that we all helped him? We were all supporting the mountain with our sticks. And if it were not for our efforts, we would have all been crushed to death because you know Kanhaiya. Yeah, we know him. Lazy, careless. So he was being lazy and careless even in this predicament. So we are the ones who save the day. He is no one special. He's one of us. Apna yaar hai we. Apna dost hai. That's all he is. He's our friend. So then Kanhaiya was happy because they started looking at him as they were earlier. So this relationship, friendly relationship, is extremely special. It is not that we should stop at this relationship, that we should not go further. We should. But this is one of the relationships that we must form with Sri Krishna. Sakhya Bhav. Beyond Sakhya Bhav is Vatsalya Bhav. Yashoda and Nanda Baba come in here. Kaushalya and Dashrath come in here. Regarding him as a son, their child, we must also do the same. And then the topmost relationship, as you know, is Madhurya Bhav. This is where the gopis come in. And they look at him and they regard him and love him, adore him and surrender to him and serve him as one loves and serves the beloved. But this relationship is very sweet because now there's a sense of equality. When two people meet, they are very formal with one another. If they're speaking Hindi, they'll call each other, they'll address each other as aap. Aapka shubh naam kya hai? What is your good name? आप कहाँ रहते हैं? आप क्या करते हैं? So they address each other as aap, very formal you. Then some time passes, they become more familiar with each other, they address each other as tum. Now that formality is gone, it's replaced by friendliness. Tum. अरे तुम कहाँ थे? हम इतनी प्रतीक्षा किए तुम्हारी, इतना इंतजार कर रहे थे, तुम कहाँ थे? Where were you? And this is now more familiar you. And when they really become good friends, they slap each other on the back and all that, and they joke around with each other, then they call each other tu. Tu. Very familiar. It cannot get any more familiar than that. So the friends call each other tu. Tu, क्या कर रहा था? तू क्या कर रहा है भाई? समझ नहीं आ रहा. Tu. Very, very familiar and very, very sweet. So the friends of Lord Krishna, they are on an equal footing. Yes, his father is wealthier. They're saying that, yes, he has more cows, but so what? So what? That doesn't make you anything special, Kanhaiya. This is the sweetness of Sakhya Bhav, loving Krishna as a friend. मोह कहाँ आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी मोह कहाँ आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी सखन रिसाने मोहन जाने सखन रिसाने मोहन जाने सखन रिसाने मोहन जाने सखन रिसाने मोहन जाने नैन नीर भरि आयो हरि जनी सखे कृपालु लोक हूँ दीखत 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 गोद लियो इतरायो हरि जनी 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 मोकाहा आँखी दिखायो हरि जनी So when his friends spoke to him, scolding him and getting annoyed with him, then Shamsundar realized that he had gone too far and that he had really annoyed his friends. His eyes started to fill with tears. Sakhan risane mohan jane nain neer bhari aayo. But the sakhas, the friends, don't want him to cry, but it's just rasabhang na hoye take rahiye. It should only go to the point where there's a lot of sweetness from what he says and what he does, but he must not become sad. So they will not let the tears fall. His eyes are filled with tears. They will not allow the tears to fall. Of course, they will forgive him. But here Sri Maharaj Ji comes in, because the sakhas turn to Sri Maharaj Ji. They say to Jagadguru Sri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, you have come to the world to preach his message. And so what do you say? Is he right in behaving like this? Sri Maharaj Ji says, as he explains this Leela, that it would be better to just run away from there rather than answer this question. It's a difficult question to answer. But Sri Maharaj Ji said that, Maharaj Ji says, well, you know, friends, the fact is that what you're seeing is what happens in the world also. You know, a child who is adopted into the family becomes very spoiled. And it's not his fault, his parents spoil him. This is how Sri Krishna understood the answer. What Sri Maharaj Ji said, Sri Krishna understood, Kanhaiya understood that he's speaking in my favor, that it's not his fault, his parents have spoiled him. The Kanhaiya is the adopted son of Nand, his real father is Vasudev. He's known as Vasudev, meaning the son of Vasudev. So Sri Maharaj Ji says to the friends, the sakhas, that don't mind him because he was adopted and so, you know, his parents have spoiled him like this. And so Sri Krishna is satisfied with that because he thinks, okay, it's not my fault I'm like this, it's my parents' fault. But the sakhas, the friends, are taking this to mean, yes, you've tolerated him, that's very nice of you, because he's like that. He's spoiled, he's been adopted, so he's very spoiled. So both the parties were satisfied with this explanation by Jagadguru Uttam Sri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. And we are charmed by this Leela, this childhood pastime of Sri Krishna with the sakhas. And we are inspired to love him as a friend, our eternal friend as well. I'll remind you of what Sri Maharaj Ji has said. Dasya bhavena sakhyena vatsalyena yada kada nityam madhurya bhavena Shri Krishna sevyate maya. Love Krishna as the master, as the friend, and as your child from time to time. Go into these relationships, go into these sentiments, these moods, but always, always, always remain in the madhurya bhav sentiment that he is my beloved, the highest, the sweetest relationship with him. But a part of that relationship is loving him as a friend. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, भोले भाले गोपाल की जय, जगतगुरु उत्तम श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय, प्रेम रस मदिरा की जय, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे।